Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is our NXT show for the week. Let's jump right into it as it's a stacked show going in. First match we had Bayley versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch picks up the win after a distraction from her friend Sasha Banks. Afterwards they try to beat down Bayley, brings out Charlotte, continuing the multi-layer feud between the four. Afterwards, we see Charlotte tell Bayley not to go after Sasha next week because she won't be there to protect her. Thought that was okay. As you may know, watching this show, I'm a huge Bayley fan. I think they're kind of stuck in a rut with her, making her lose these kind of matches over and over and over again. It's hard to build credibility as a fan when a wrestler that you want to cheer for is continually losing. Just my opinion. I think she's way too talented, and I think she's someone that the fans really want to get behind, but really haven't been given a great reason as to why they should. Next up, we had the Vaudevillains versus the Mini Lucha Dragons, which was basically two, I don't know if this is a politically correct term, but midget wrestlers in Nacho Libre masks and Lucha Dragon t-shirts. It was okay and funny. It went on a little long, but for what the Vaudevillains do, I thought it was okay. Could have been something better used to hype this feud than this, in my opinion. Next up, we have Baron Corbin versus Elias Sampson. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. The crowd is really getting into Corbin, and they're basically counting down the time it takes him to beat somebody, which was 22 seconds this week. I do want to see him go into deeper waters, go 5-minute match, 7-minute match, 10-minute match. Maybe they're building to that. I don't know. At this point, I'm enjoying what he's doing. His charisma and talent are shining through. I think he's somebody that could be a major star in professional wrestling. Because of the short match, we see Corbin leaving. He's passed by Bull Dempsey, who faces Steve Cutler. The fans chant, count down Bull's match, thinking it's going to be another quick squash. Ends up being about a 2-minute match. And once they get past 22, they start chanting Corbin's better or Baron's better. So maybe they're setting up a rivalry and hopefully an eventual showdown between two of the, as Jim Ross would say, hosses of NXT going forward. Next thing we have, I normally don't talk about these because normally they just don't interest me that much. We had a promo for the debut coming up on NXT. The next NXT takeover, I forget what it's called. But anyway, point of the matter is, the next NXT takeover show, we're going to get the debut of a wrestler named Kevin Owens. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, it's the man that used to be Kevin Steen, most notably as a Ring of Honor World Champion, destroying every indie organization in America. Probably the most gifted wrestler in the world, in my opinion. Instant star power, instant credibility. Guy that's coming in, one of the best in the world, can only add to the NXT show and overall the WWE product itself. Speaking of one of the best wrestlers in the world, we get Tyson Kidd versus CJ Parker. Quick match reestablishing Tyson Kidd after Tyson Kidd's been taking a lot of losses. He gets the win on CJ Parker. I thought this was a good way to build back Tyson Kidd. I think what he's doing in NXT is really special, and it's carrying over onto the main roster a little bit. I enjoy what he's doing. I think he's going to be someone, this little shot in the arm for his career, being in NXT, I think is going to do wonders for him. Next up, we have Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, with going up against Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Thought this was okay. I like Dawson and Wilder. I've seen them before. They haven't done much on television, but in house shows, they're a really good tag team. Enzo and Cass are wildly over. Afterwards, we see the Ascension basically attacking both teams, reasserting their dominance. I would assume it's going to lead to a Enzo and Cass versus the Ascension at the next pay-per-view or special or whatever they want to call it. But it was good. It was fun. Enzo and Cass are always good. They always have that charisma and personality. I think it's going to go far for them. Last but not least, we have Sami Zayn calling out Adrian Neville, basically asking for a rematch and saying, if I can't beat you, I'm leaving, I'm done with wrestling. Which Regal comes out and says it's okay, but Neville tries to talk Zayn out, says you don't need to put your career up. I don't want to see you quit because of this. Zayn is insistent. That's how we go off the air. So, we're either going to get Sami Zayn as the NXT champion, or a screwy finish, maybe Kevin Owens in that debuting spot, or Sami Zayn just flat out losing in maybe them hiring a masked luchador that has a lot of the same skills named El Generico. But who knows going forward what they're planning on doing. Sami Zayn does deserve a short title run in NXT. I say short because I hope he's up in the main roster by WrestleMania, if not the day after, because he's already been in developmental for a long time, and as you'll see in a moment, I think pretty highly of him. Going off of that, we're going to go right into our top 5 rankings for the top 5 prospects in NXT. We'll preface this if you haven't seen the show before. Anyone that's been on the main roster or splits time between the main roster and NXT, we don't count for this show. Basically, this is all for guys that are NXT talent. Number 5, Baron Corbin. Like I said before, I want to see him start getting longer and longer matches. I like his charisma. I like his personality. I like the fact that he's already connected with the fans. He's got that potential. A lot of people have had that potential and never went further. Let's see what he does. Hopefully he could be one of the huge stars in wrestling over the next 10 years. Next up, number 4, Adrian Neville, the NXT champion. Top flight, high flyer, one of the best in the world. Lacks a little bit on promo skills, lacks a little bit in size. His charisma and his in-ring ability will take him far. Number 3, a guy that hasn't even debuted on the show yet. I think you guys are knowing where I'm going with this. Kevin Owens, his reputation precedes itself. I think he's going to go very quickly from being an NXT newcomer to a major player in NXT, and I think he's going to be the future of the WWE, along with the guys coming up next at 2-1. Number 2, it's a tag team. I get to do this because that's how they're using them. Hideo Itami and Finn Balor, much like Kevin Owens, guys that have been on the indie scene and carved out a name, much like Neville, much like Sami Zayn, carved out a name all over the world for themselves. 2 of the absolute best wrestlers in the world, stacking the deck, combining their talents. I think it's going to be great to see what they do with these guys. Maybe a NXT tag title run, maybe an eventual split and a feud. Sky's the limit on both these talents. They're both guys that can take the ball and run with it. They've already done it on a big stage. Finn Balor in New Japan, arguably the main talent in New Japan at his time there. Hideo Itami in Pro Wrestling Noah, arguably the main talent during his time there as well. They've already been to the heights of large companies. It's time to see them in the WWE and see what they can do. And our number 1, Sami Zayn. What can I say about Sami Zayn that I haven't already said? He's a truly amazing talent. I think he's got crazy upside potential. He's already one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's easily got the best charisma of anybody currently in NXT. He has a huge connection with the fan base. He's a natural baby face. Everything about him screams superstar. Everything about him says WrestleMania main event. I think this guy has everything it takes and more to be one of the all-time greats. But basically, that's all I have to say about that. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.